Tim Stewart, Brian McNutt, and Steve Horanacki. And we are underway. It's Purdue-Fort Wayne at home in white. Jared Godfrey, the do-it-all guy for the Dons, their leading scorer, averaging 18 a game. He has the first two tonight.
Yeah, really nice job on the tip already right there. That's the kind of energy you want to see if you're Coach Kaufman with your team getting off to a quick start off the tip. You know, if you're Coach Nagy, you didn't like that, but a really nice offensive set there to get a bucket.
And it leads to two for A.J. Braun, who's making his first collegiate start. The freshman grew up not far away from Wright State's campus in Dayton. Now it's Petty inside. He puts it in.
Yeah, I think PFW is going to try to go into Petty quite a bit, is to keep his confidence rolling. He's doing really well right now, grabbing some offensive rebounds, being that really big, solid center. But it's easy to lose confidence when you don't feel the ball, you don't get touches. So I think, you know, what they're going to do is try to look at him to keep that going.
Guy who averaged just 3 points, 3 rebounds a game last year is taking things to a new gear this season. Difficult shot for Basili, and he banks it in.
It's a really nice move. That's a tough thing to guard. Being able to spin back to a strong hand and get a long hook shot in there.
On the other side, Jalen Pipkins looking for Petty. That's out of bounds off the grad student from Indianapolis, and the Raiders will take over. So although this is the second year for the Mastodons in the Horizon League, during the season impacted by the pandemic, it was an unbalanced schedule. And even though these two are only about 2 hours apart, they didn't play each other last season.
No, yeah, they didn't. That was one of the games that got wiped out with the COVID. So two teams that are really looking to play each other, two coaches that are familiar with each other as well. And it's nice to have the fans back in the stands, especially for a conference game, John.
No doubt about it. That's an offensive foul called against Bobby Planutis, and the Raiders bench loves to see that. The charge drawn by Tanner Holden. And Kibbe, if you listen to Scott Nagy, big thing with him right now has been that his defense has not been up to their standard. He says it should be in their heads. They go over it enough. They haven't shown enough heart through their first 6 games of the season. There was a good play by Holden.
Yeah, that was one thing that he definitely has made clear that he's unhappy with. And that is a struggle always to start the year, especially for them. They've played a lot of road games, John. They played 1 home game thus far. And usually you like to get back home. That kind of settles everything down. Offensively, defensively, you know, they don't have that luxury right now. So he's just digging and trying to find something. Maybe league play will spark that for him.
We shall see. Tough start for them here at Purdue-Fort Wayne, then at the preseason favorite Cleveland State on Saturday. Good and one. Chance for a 4-point play for Jared Godfrey.
Really patient offense there by PFW. Didn't get rushed. Wright State did a really nice job defensively for about 25 seconds. But they were just able to be patient, find the open man, and that's what Coach Kaufman talks about, is those paint touches. They're able to get in the paint, kick out for a 3.
Yeah, whether it's a guard penetrating in there or a big man posting up, Purdue-Fort Wayne aspires to not attempt a field goal until the ball gets into the paint at least 80% of the time over the course of the game. They've charted that out over the years, say their field goal percentage is about 30% greater after they get that paint touch.
Yeah, and that's something that Wright State has made an emphasis on as well for defensively, is try to eliminate that.
Nice vision by Basili with the dime to Braun. Braun did not even play in the first few games of the season for Wright State, and now they look to him for a spark here in the starting lineup. Godfrey had the 4-point play. Too strong on that 3. In case you're not familiar with the kind of scorer that Jared Godfrey is, last weekend down in Fort Myers against Western Michigan, he dropped 35, and that wasn't even a career high. He scored 41 in a Horizon League game against UIC last year. Speaking of career highs, could be that kind of night for Braun, a quick 6 for him.
Yeah, really nice job there by Wright State. You know, that was something that they wanted to do offensively as the key to the game, was pound the ball inside. And so far, they've done a really nice job of looking into their post play.
So is Purdue-Fort Wayne. It's 4 for Petty. And Petty's performance now not going to catch anyone off guard. In talking with Scott Nagy pregame and asking him about his impressions of the Mastodons, first name he brought up was Petty. And it's not just because he's a prolific scorer, but a guy with a tremendous motor, screens well, cuts well. And there, the runner for Trey Calvin.
No, yeah, absolutely. Rob Petty's done a really nice job to start the year off with just being active on the boards and then being able to find the open spot.
Deontay Billups got some space on the wing. He could be the sixth man of the year, at least in that conversation in the Horizon League. He splashes a three. Both sides shooting it at a high rate early on.
And that's what Purdue Fort Wayne, I think, needs to see, is they need to see that sixth man, besides a Godfrey, a Chonqui, or Pipkins, really step up. And I think Billups can be that guy.
Little heat check for him. In transition, the Raiders are within one. Trey Calvin again. Well, he had his best game so far this season over in West Lafayette, other side of the state, at Purdue. Trying to get it done now against Purdue Fort Wayne. Wright State has made 6 of its first 7. Purdue Fort Wayne 5 of 7. Let's make it 6 for 8.
Being able to really get anything they want when they drive the ball baseline into the wing. Wright State's doing a very good job of shifting towards the ball and rotating their feet.
Well, they make up for it on the offensive side. Tim Finke connects from behind the arc. As a team, Wright State entered shooting just 40% from the field, only 24% from 3. Jalen Pipkins on the drive, swatted by Finke. On the reload, no good for Damian Chonqui, but it's another offensive rebound. Pipkins baseline drive, lost it.
Maybe they're up 8 or 10, and then all of a sudden 4 threes later, and all of a sudden it's a 20-point game.
Both sides here have had dynamic shooting early on. Wright State is 7 of 8 from the floor. And now Jared Godfrey and the Mastodons are 7 for 11. And Godfrey leads all scorers. He's already got 10. Deontay Billups with the steal.
Really nice dig there by Deontay Billups. He kind of read that guard, pounded down in between, got his hand in there real quick and was able to snatch that out.
Purdue Fort Wayne has forced its opponents to turn it over 17 times a game so far this year. That's the highest rate defensively in the Horizon League. That was an NBA range 3 for Damian Chonqui. Offensive rebound for Cam Benford. The reload, it's Godfrey. That one was short. In case you're not familiar with the setup here at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum, this is also the home for the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, the NBA G League affiliate of the Pacers. After another steal, Jalen Pipkins called for a travel.
It's interesting to see already here, John, as Coach Kaufman's gone 8 deep into his bench. And that was one thing that, they kind of struggled with while they were in Florida those last few games, is finding that rhythm with these players coming off the bench. So I think that's something, being back home is what he's going to be looking to do, is try to reestablish that rhythm, because he's made an emphasis. He doesn't want Jared Godfrey playing 35-plus minutes a game.
Speaking of guys in off the bench, there's the birthday boy, Johnny Desjardins, with a hustle save underneath. The sophomore from Memphis. And talking about the depth for Wright State, Billups trying to drive by Riley Voss. Voss returning to the lineup after he missed all 3 games last week, dealing with a finger injury and an elbow injury early on this year.
Yeah, that's something that Wright State was glad to have back, is being able to get him into the rotation again. That's maybe something, too, that they needed here really quick, is to try to help turn their thing around, is by getting an extra player or 2, having 2 of them hurt, coming back, playing today, could help them.
They could use more of a lift from C.J. Wilburn as well. He puts that one in on the second chance, a transfer from Milwaukee. He started in the Horizon League for the Panthers almost every game the last couple years. Well, Jared Godfrey, the senior for the Mastodons, he got some starts his freshman year here, and boy, has he progressed year by year.
He really has. He has turned into one of the most exciting players to watch in the league.
And in that conversation as well, Tanner Holden.
Yeah, if you're Tanner Holden and Grant Buselli, you really need to try to take this team and put them on your back, especially starting this conference game out. Is you know your team's struggling a little bit, so get out there and make a name.
Holden with the leak out throws it down, and the Raiders jump in front. Pick and pop. Splash. Deontay Phillips for three.
You know, one thing that's interesting about what Wright State's doing on defense here is they're forcing everything into the middle. And usually you don't see that very often. Usually the coaches want to force the ball to the sideline and to the baseline. But they're actually forcing it to the middle because that's where they feel like the most help is.
Again, hustle from Desjardins. It's 5 turnovers for Wright State almost midway through the first half. Desjardins kicks. Jarvis Walker off the mark.
Teams they play in, but all sometimes it takes is like reset your mind. Like, hey, league play is here. You know, we're a team. We're projected second, so we're a good team. You know, can they just take that motivation and run with it?
No doubt they've got the talent. Grant Basili, you saw preseason first team All-Horizon League. JoJo Peterson whistled for a reach-in with 7 on the shot clock. And we talked already about Tanner Holden. Last year, he actually was first team All-League. For what it's worth, you know, maybe a bit of a snub on the preseason list this year, but it goes to show you the kind of talent throughout the league, including Pat Baldwin Jr., a potential lottery pick at Milwaukee. Antoine Davis, preseason player of the year at Detroit Mercy.
Yeah, no doubt. This league is very talented with players in it. And it's funny that you mentioned those two names because they're sons of the head coaches. You know, that it's a weird dynamic that the Horizon League has right now. I think there's 4 or 5 sons and fathers that are actually part of the team. And Wright State actually has one, even though, Coach Nagy's son doesn't get as much playing time as these others. But it's a great league. Really, really good players in this league, and it's one of those where people sleep on a league like this too much and sleep on the players because they're not getting that national attention. They're not playing on ESPN on 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night.
And yet we've already seen this season Oakland win on the road, upsetting Oklahoma State. And yes, to your point, it is certainly an impressive accomplishment for TJ Nagy, making this Raiders team as a junior. Well, after A.J. Braun went to the line, the Raiders cough it up. And Jared Godfrey returns for Purdue Fort Wayne. So far, he leads all scorers with 13, while surprisingly, it's Braun with 7 to pace Wright State. His career high so far through his first 3 collegiate games is 9. Phillips on the baseline, shot clock under 10. Godfrey, the blow by. Count it, plus the foul.
That's something you don't teach. That's just Jared Godfrey having a high IQ, working on his game of being quick, being able to get to the hole and finish really strong.
Well, Jared would tell you, though, maybe if anyone's helped to teach him over the years, it helps to have an older brother who's a professional basketball player. His older brother, Gerard, has spent a number of years playing internationally. And that was one of the silver linings going back to last year, early part of this pandemic when Jared was back home in Atlanta. His brother at that point wound up no longer overseas, but back home. They got some additional training in. Saw the kind of season that Godfrey had last year. 3rd team All-Horizon League. Could be 1st team potentially this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shot clock at 5 as Basili gets it to go off the front of the rim.
When they've been able to get the ball inside to Buselli, PFW has had no answer to any of their big men when they get the ball on the block. So it'll be interesting to see if they're going to be able to catch on to that and keep attacking that inside. It was something they wanted to do offensively as a key to the game, was pound the ball inside. So let's see if they can keep doing that.
That one's off for Peterson. Transition for the Raiders, catch and shoot. Andrew Wellig buries a three. He's the only Indiana native on the roster for Wright State. Back here across state lines, and that's his fourth three of the season. And we'll keep talking about Wright State's success inside after making that three, but they are playing with two bigs for the most part so far, while Purdue-Fort Wayne tends to go one big, really four guards a lot of times.
Yeah, so that's also a thing that makes it harder for them to guard. A lesser opponent. So it's been nice.
Well, remember, as of last year, Purdue-Fort Wayne and Robert Morris joining the league, expanding to 12. So everyone plays each other twice, 22-game schedule. Got it started here in early December. Out of the timeout, an easy deuce inside for Grant Basile, and Wright State leads by 3.
Yeah, Fort Wayne hasn't had an answer for Basile down there in the post when he's gotten the ball. So you expect to see some type of adjustment happening.
What adjustment do you think Purdue-Fort Wayne can make there?
Well, they need to have better guard pressure, being able to guard the ball on the wing. So the pass is going into the post way too easy. So that's number one, better guard pressure. And then number two, their post defense, they got to try to deny that ball getting in there in the post. So whether that's a three-quarter front or whether that's a full front, to be able to stop that.
How about this for Wright State? Just saw it pop up. Only 3 missed shots to this point, but 7 turnovers. But here's a team that was almost in a team-wide slump, and then everybody's breaking out of it at the same time.
Absolutely, and if you're Wright State's coaches, that's what you want to see. All you're expecting is one little thing to help get you out of the slump.
Now Basile has the block on D. Holden, mid-range, knocks it down. Tanner Holden averaging 21 points per game, and he now has 6 in his first half.
That started off there with the defense. They got a really nice block shot. We're able to get down in transition and find the open man.
Yeah, and again, in talking with Coach Nagy ahead of this one, he wasn't as concerned about the offense as he was the defense. He thought a lot of the offensive troubles were stemming from the fact that they haven't played well enough at the defensive end. And I'm sure he's probably not satisfied with what they've done here so far tonight, but they have been getting good looks and knocking them down, now shooting 82% from the field.
No, you're right, John, but one thing to look at, too, is that was what Coach Nagy can see why his defense is being successful is they've gotten 7 fast break points. So that's telling me that as soon as they're getting a stop or getting and the ball's going in, they're getting out and running. So they're able to get a stop, push the ball up the court.
No good from distance for Basile. Take it away. Tanner Holden, fast break. Puts it in.
Yeah, you can see Purdue-Fort Wayne getting a little lackadaisical here with their offense. You know, it's a lot of one pass, try to dribble and drive. You know, they're not moving the ball. They're not getting the screen set that they want to. Thus causing some turnovers, and Wright State's just being really active.
Here's another, and another fast break layup for Tanner Holden. Timeout, Purdue-Fort Wayne. Picked to be right up there with Cleveland State, and they're trying to set the tone for league play.
No, you're right, and it starts with just a sliver of just hard work on defense, of just doing the basic fundamental thing, and that's 1, being in a stance, 2, sliding your feet, and being in the right gap.
Unable to get out on the shooter as Damian Chanqui nails a 3. Dons desperately needed that. It had been more than 4 minutes since their last bucket. So that ends the 13-0 run. CJ Wilborn. Nice post move. No good. Loose ball. Godfrey gobbles it up.
That's you see that's a little bit of a struggle for Purdue-Fort Wayne, is being able to guard 2 bigs. And you mentioned it earlier. They're a little bit undersized in there.
Billups came over to help, but he fouled Andrew Wellig.
Yeah, it was a really nice job there by Wright State. Another stop, transition kick ahead, and being able to attack the glass before Purdue Fort Wayne's able to get their defense set.
Wellig from Greensburg, Indiana. That's southeast of Indianapolis. We talked before about Jared Godfrey learning from his older brother who has played professionally. In Andrew's case, his older brother Ryan played in college at San Jose State and then at Xavier.
That's always a nice thing, you know, to have that older brother there that you can lean on or, you know, help with guidance. You know, I have a younger brother, and I know he always looked up to me of asking me questions as his basketball career got underway in high school of how did you do this, or why did you do that, or, you know, when coach says this, what does that mean? So it's really nice to have that older figure to kind of help guide you through your career.
Really must be. You didn't give him too many tips, though. You didn't want him beating you one-on-one, right?
His claim to fame, he only beat me one time one-on-one, and he'll never forget that time.
Holden, who had transferred in from Purdue, led all scorers with 18 points. And stay tuned, coming up at the half, we'll hear from Bryson. We'll hear from some of the other guys from that squad, like John Conchar, who now is in the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies. Out their memories, that was in front of a packed crowd. It was electric.
It was. Where were you sitting, John?
I was lucky. I got to be media row.
Oh, man. I got to get those seats.
Hey, you got your way here now.
Yeah.
Probably don't have to worry about anyone trying to run past you, storming the court here tonight.
No, I'm big enough, John. I'll be able to block us if something like that happens.
Right, both of us.
Yes.
But here it is, a fairly even matchup in this first half, although Wright State extends its lead to 8 as Tanner Holden is cooking. He's got a dozen. He's the high man for the Raiders.
Yeah, you can just tell that they're kind of finding a little bit of a groove here in the first half at least. Kind of getting back to, like I said, basics and fundamentals of how you play defense. And, you know, one of the first things is communicating. You can see the coaches on the bench communicating pretty clearly, and then it's gang rebounding on misses.
Like there, Tanner Holden with the board. From the foul line. Now it's Godfrey controlling the carom. Damian Chanqui kicks into the corner. Billups to Godfrey. And the paint won't go, but he's headed to the line. Jared Godfrey right now just 3 points outside of the top 10 in Purdue Fort Wayne history. Entered tonight with 1,218 points. He's chasing after David Simon.
Yeah, what'd you say? He's 19 points away, right?
And with that free throw, he now has 17 points in this game.
Yeah, he's off to a great start, yeah. So he might be able to move into the top 10 here in the first half alone. And what an accomplishment that would be for his storied career here at Purdue Fort Wayne. That's, you always, you know, any type of time you can get in the top 10 of a school in any type of stat, probably besides fouls, actually. You know, it's a nice accomplishment to have.
Depending on your perspective, funny you say that. Jared actually comes into this game 23rd in the nation in fouls committed so far this season, but successful at the line. And so getting closer to the likes not only of David Simon, but also Bryson Scott, Max Landis. Former Don tuned in watching tonight overseas in Portugal.
He is, so hopefully, Max, hope you're doing well with you and the family and the little newborn that you have.
Well, last year, Godfrey had a 41-point game, second most in a single game in Don's history, behind only a performance that Landis had at South Dakota. Jalen Pipkins off balance, but body controlled and knock it down as the Dons back down by 6. It was A.J.
I mean, they like to get paint touches. Doesn't necessarily mean they want to score in the paint, but 26 points in the paint, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow, and that's something that you're really going to have to look at defensively to fix in the second half.
Yep. Here's Billups. No good. Stays with it. But eventually rebounded by Basili. Final minute of the first half. Tanner Holden. There was contact, no whistle. And that was the case last time out against Long Beach State. Out of the timeout, it's Braun again. A.J. Braun, the freshman out of Bishop Fenwick High School, with a career half, 11 points. First career start, taking advantage of the opportunity. JoJo Peterson. Might not be the shot the Macedons want in that situation. And now the shot clock is turned off. Peterson has not yet made a three here in his freshman season. Largest lead of the night. Wright State up by 10. Calvin goes. Gets it to Braun. Too easy. This year in mid-February.
Really special that they do that for the John McClendon Day. That's a really nice tradition that they started.
Former Cleveland State head coach. Damian Shanqui misfires on the first field goal attempt of the second half. All right. Gibby, you've been in those Purdue-Fort Wayne locker rooms before. Macedon's down a dozen. What do they need to do to rally at home?
Well, that was a quick halftime speech as they came out here with about 6 minutes left in warm-up. So the big thing is paint touches. So back to your basics on offense, being able to get paint touches, which will create good shots, try to get the ball into Petty. Secondly, defensively, they have to change something about guarding their post inside, whether that's fronting, bringing a trap. Coach Kaufman does have a trap because they used it against Austin Peay the last home game with the big man inside. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Offensively, they feed Petty, no good. Wright State pushes off the rebounds. Basili is doubled.
Yep, there's the try to draw that double team and create a long pass.
Back and forth between Basili and Finke. Pass is deflected. Shanqui attempting to save it. Can't quite do so.
Yeah, so you already see it was off to a nice start. That was a decent defensive possession there by drawing the double team, and they came over.
Only 5 on the shot clock for Wright State. Here's Trey Calvin with speed. Fouled on the floor with only 2 on the shot clock.
That's tough.
John Kaufman from the sideline is protesting that it was Calvin who initiated the contact.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, and in that instance, if you're Shanqui, you just got to get your heels back and be able to stop his momentum coming in by getting past, put your heels on the three-point line. So
Deontay Billups has replaced Shanqui, and now it's Holden scoring and stretching the lead to 14. Wright State attempting to end a 5-game skid and defeat a Division I opponent for the first time this year. Macedons turn it over. Wright State has won at least a share of the Horizon League regular season title 3 consecutive years. And the year prior to that, they won the Horizon League championship tournament. Meanwhile, for Purdue-Fort Wayne, just their second year in the conference, transitioning in from the Summit League. Last year, things didn't go according to plan. Finished 6-14 in the league, bottom part of the standings. It was a year unlike any other, though, with the pandemic, and the Macedons, much like a lot of teams, were severely impacted. John Kaufman said before this one, his group was looking to send a message that just as they were an upper echelon team in the Summit League, they should be an upper echelon team in the Horizon League. And they got off to a solid start, but this one's slipping away.
Oh, it is, and they're just not getting the ball movement that Coach Kaufman wants.
Like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not, you can see the body language of what's going on with this team right now, right? Like, Godfrey's the leader. He's got to be able to step up and be able to lead this team with the comeback here.
Here he dishes, and Petty scores after It was Tim Finke who hammered it down on the other side.
But then if you're a player on the bench, if you're a Benford, if you're a JoJo Peterson, if you're a Jarvis Walker, you see what's going on. You got to be the one that comes in and create that spark for your team.
It's still Wright State ball, and again, it was A.J. Braun providing the spark for Wright State tonight, making his first start of the season, and Scott Nagy decided to go with a bigger lineup. He had kind of hinted at this coming in. They had been starting Keaton Norris, a 6-foot guard, but he thought that with Norris and Trey Calvin also at 6 feet tall that they were just too small with those guys. So instead, has gone big, and there, Jared Godfrey, who's a big point guard, bullies his way inside, and the Dons are down by 12.
Yeah, he might have got away with one there. That was just an angry move on Godfrey. He just really wanted the bucket. It worked out for him on that one.
Basili makes Purdue Fort Wayne pay from deep.
That's the thing. It goes to show why he was predicted to finish as a preseason first team. He can score it inside, and he's a really good shooter from the outside.
Showed that there. Speaking of good shooters from the outside, they don't get much better than Bobby Planutis. And that was a biggie here for Purdue Fort Wayne as they try to keep this game manageable. The silly redshirt junior from Wisconsin got a whistle off ball, and it goes against Rob Petty. Cameron Benford replaces him. Basili puts it on the deck. Now Tanner Holden. Tipped around, Basili has it. 5 on the shot clock. No good, but he'll head to league action for the duration. After the timeout, Grant Basili sinks a pair at the line. The redshirt junior from Wisconsin makes it a 14-point lead for the Raiders. And here he's active defensively. 2-on-1. Basili scores. It's a guy who missed his freshman year with an ankle injury, had a red shirt. As a redshirt freshman, he did make the all-league newcomer team. Bobby Planutis, key 3. But it's awesome to see Basili just keeps getting better. Last year, second team all-league. This season, preseason, first team all-league.
Yeah, if you're Purdue Fort Wayne, you can't trade baskets here. You got to be able to dig in and get basketball's a game of runs, right? So dig in, get a stop, and then start a run yourself. But you're not going to do that if you don't box out, and that's what happened right there.
Dons forced the miss, and Tanner Holden skied in to score. Holden leading the Raiders now at 16. Planutis lost it. However, Basili was on the baseline, and so the Mastodons retain it. Rob Petty back in for Cameron Benford. Going back to the first half, we had a few lead changes, 6 ties. Pretty evenly played for the first 15 minutes. Then Wright State had that 13-0 run to go in front. They haven't looked back.
No, they really haven't, John. They got the lead, and they've just kind of kept building on it slowly by slowly ever since they did that.
2 for JoJo Peterson.
Really nice being able to penetrate and get inside, and a nice little floater to get a bucket. And it's like I kind of said to start the second half, is if you're Purdue Fort Wayne, you're looking for a spark. I mean, I see no energy out there right now. There's no energy on defense. There really isn't an emphasis on offense to get what Coach Coughlin wants. You can see the body language. It's completely the opposite with Wright State. So you got somebody, whether that's JoJo, Godfrey, a Pipkins, really want to see it out of a Billups, is to be able to step up and just make a couple plays or have some fiery leadership here.
Well, Trey Calvin hit the three to bump it back up to 16, and it's kind of funny how confidence works. This Wright State team, again, entering tonight on a 5-game losing streak. By the sounds of it, they were certainly struggling with their confidence, shooting 24% from three as a team. Not this time for Peterson. Petty stays with it. He'll go to the line. Oh, there, an offensive rebound for Rob Petty, and he has certainly been tenacious on the glass this year. Petty, a real bright spot for the Mastodons, averaging 13 points, 7 rebounds a game, and about half of those coming on the offensive glass. It's top 12 in the entire country.
That's impressive. And you know what? Getting offensive rebounds is so pivotal to team's offensive success, because when you get an offensive rebound and you get a kick out and you make a three, that's a dagger three. That's a huge gut punch to the defense, is when you give up an offensive rebound and all the three is hit, because you're just the activeness, the ability. So that is a really nice job of what Petty's done. Can he keep that going throughout the season? Because that could be a huge little difference maker and make Purdue Fort Wayne even harder to guard.
Yeah, and credit to Petty for his improvement at the foul line, too. Only about a 50% shooter there last year, now at about 75%. And he's getting to the line at the highest rate on the team. Basile posting up. And Grant Basile now has 15. The lead, 16 for Wright State and their Horizon League opener.
No, yeah, Purdue Fort Wayne did a nice job of having a full frontal there. However, when you do a full frontal on defense, you have to have a backside help so that they can't throw that ball over the top like they just did. So poor execution defensively on Purdue Fort Wayne's part there.
Godfrey on the take, rebounded by C.J. Wilborn. Remember the last time Purdue Fort Wayne was here at home, it was a victory over an Austin Peay team that then went on to beat Dayton. You know, Dayton then with wins against Miami and Kansas, most notably. And Purdue Fort Wayne held Austin Peay to just 60 points. Here, Wright State's already at 65 with 12 and a half minutes left. And back then, it seems like a long time ago in some ways, but a couple weeks ago or so, you heard this Purdue Fort Wayne coaching staff say they thought this could have been their best defensive team in a while, but not tonight at least.
No, and you kind of wonder if it's a little bit of the hangover from a long week last week for them, right? They travel on a Wednesday down to Florida. They don't travel back until Monday morning, so then you get back. You don't have practice Monday. You practice Tuesday, Wednesday in preparation for Wright State. You know, is that enough time for them to even get their legs back a little bit? And it does. It looks a little bit of sluggish part on their end here today.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Could be a factor. A.J. Braun, though, looking really fresh. The freshman with a breakout performance. 15 in his first career start. Braun's a significant player for this Wright State program as well, because think about all the tremendous programs in the state of Ohio. One thing that Scott Nagy has acknowledged that's been difficult so far through his first 5+ years leading the Raiders is trying to keep some of the local talent. They've got so many options, and Wright State doesn't have a ton of history. They're starting to certainly build that up now in recent years, but you've seen they've successfully recruited from outside of the region. Basile, for example, from Wisconsin, but now you got someone like Braun, who was born in Dayton, showing that he can stay close to home and get it done. Holden is an Ohio native. Back to the basket with 5 on the shot clock, feeding Braun, blocked by by Benford. And here come the Dons in transition.
Yeah, one thing when you want to build a program like Coach Nagy's done, you want to, start recruiting from in-state around your city to get fans, people excited. And that's hard to do in different states.
It's right in the middle of the geographic footprint for the conference, and it's been a great thing, not only for the basketball programs, but the entire athletic department.
No, it really has, and that was one of the nicest things to be able to get into the Horizon League. I think one of the most underestimated parts of that is the student athletes' travel schedule, missing class. You know, they don't have the luxury of the Dukes, the Michigan States, North Carolinas, hopping on a private jet, fly where they need to fly that day before, and then back after the game. You know, they have to pre-plan this. If they're going to drive 10 hours, well, they got to leave 2 nights before because the bus drivers can only drive 8 hours. So it's really going to help the student athletes out quite a bit with the class and travel schedule.
Yeah, it absolutely proved to be pivotal last year and during the pandemic. Good take by Deontay Billups off the window.
Yeah, it was a nice kick ahead and baseline drive, and he was able to go finish with his left hand, and that's what Coach Kaufman talks about, right, is he wants paint touches, whether you score off the paint touch right away or whether you get a kick out, and you can see how that opened up. So it's, you know, they got 10 minutes now to really attack that, because that's their core principle on offense here.
Yeah, and stemming from that, Purdue Fort Wayne last year was literally the only team in the entire country, you're talking about 350-plus Division I programs, to shoot 50% from the field and 40% from 3. Shot clock is at 3 right now for Riley Voss. Desperation shot. And the grad transfer from Cornell, unable to connect. Here comes
being able to attack.
Billups up top. Now Godfrey is fouled. I may have jumped the gun a moment ago. I think that was now the 4th foul of the half against Wright State. Every possession feels really critical for Purdue Fort Wayne right now. Godfrey, pretty dish, and Petty hammers it down.
Beautiful baseline out of bounds set, and being able to, you know, use a focal point of Godfrey and makes the big help to leave Petty open there.
That was a play that provides some juice, but the Dons can't sustain it. Good cut by Tanner Holden, and he scores. Holden now with 16, the high man for the Raiders. He's averaging 21 a game. On the watch list for the Lou Henson Award that goes to the best player at the mid-major level in college basketball. Doesn't drop for Planutis. By the way, this is kind of a cool coincidence. Scott Nagy actually coached under Lou Henson, former Big Ten Coach of the Year at Illinois. Had a legendary career also at New Mexico State. And not only did Scott Nagy coach under Lou Henson, so did Scott's dad, the late great Dick Nagy. Holden taking over. Well, Scott Nagy, a no-nonsense guy, he questioned his team's heart after a 5-game losing streak. They have risen to the challenge tonight.
Absolutely they have. Really done everything that you could have asked them to do so far. You know, that's the type of thing you don't want to see, obviously, as your coach, because of how well you've been playing. A little defensive mishap there, but overall, besides a couple of those, they've played a really solid game offensively and defensively. And Purdue Fort Wayne hasn't had that answer to combat that. But there's still, John, there's still a lot of time left.
7:20, exactly. Yeah. Here's Billups, long 3. Count it. And the Mastodons we mentioned last year, and this has been over the course of the last 5 years, top 10 in the country in three-point shooting. They have been below their norm so far tonight. With that one by Billups, they're still below 30%. So if numbers play out over the course of a full 40 minutes, this one's not over yet.
No, it's not at all. Not at all. 13-point game, 7 minutes to go. Yes, this is far from over.
Basile, the back down, the turnaround. Count it. Grant Basile. Well, like Scott Nagy, Grant grew up in a basketball family. His dad, Michael, was his coach in high school in Wisconsin. His grandfather, Mike, also a basketball coach in his heyday out of high school.
Absolutely. That is a stepping stone that you always hope that you can achieve, whether that's in high school or college, to get over that 1,000 points if you're a dynamic scorer. And congratulations to him and his family for that achievement. And it goes to testament that just because you didn't have a scholarship offer right away out of high school doesn't mean you can't perform at a high level, at a Division I level.
And Sean Quinn now with 7 points in this game, but not enough. Purdue Fort Wayne trailing by 15 as A.J. Braun keeps piling on. He's got 17. Previous career high through 3 games played in college, 9. Turnaround shot Jalen Pipkins. But Pipkins entered tonight averaging 13 points per game, and with that, he now has just 4.
That's a beautiful move and beautiful shot on Pipkins' part there. That's just incredible.
Trying to make a play defensively, but a kickball. And Jared Godfrey checks back in for JoJo Peterson. So there's a senior from Atlanta replacing a freshman from Georgia. Mentioned how Sean Quinn didn't have any scholarship opportunities out of McDonough High School in Baltimore because only 5'8". Got overlooked.
Yeah, no. He is not a normal-sized guard at the Division I level, but, man, what he makes up for is his quickness and his savviness when he has the ball, of being able to penetrate into the gaps.
And maybe it's still been something of a feeling out process here through the first 6, now 7 games for Purdue Fort Wayne, which last couple of years has primarily had the ball in the hands of Jared Godfrey. Now Godfrey a little bit more off ball with Sean Quinn at the controls, but those guys are great teammates, and so they are embracing the opportunity to play together, and you figure they will continue to improve. Basile puts his 6-foot size frame to use, 6'9" frame to use, but the Dons get a good look. Pipkins left it short. 4.5 minutes to go. Basile inside, and I mean, in a nutshell, it's been like that tonight for Wright State. Easy buckets. A watch party and a good dinner on this Thursday night. And if you're a Wright State fan, a lot to like in this one.
That's kind of like gathering for a little watch party. That's a pre-COVID type thing, and that's nice to hear and see that they're able to get back to the model year game after.
Maybe Damian Sean Quinn, undersized point guard. And the senior from Baltimore knocks down the free throw. Grew up in New Jersey during the heyday of Jason Kidd with the Nets. That was after a less successful run idolizing Stephon Marbury.
Oh, yeah. My Pistons got the better of your Nets and Jason Kidd there. Early 2000s.
Eventually.
Yeah. That was a team they had. What did they have? Jason Kidd with Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson.
Big three.
Yeah, that was pretty dynamic, a little trio there. Maybe they were the start of the big three.
Are you a Darko guy?
No, I actually, you know what? I did buy his jersey as soon as he was drafted #1.
Well, here the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum once upon a time was actually home to the Fort Wayne Pistons before they moved to Detroit. This venue has hosted an NBA All-Star game and an NBA Finals. Trey Calvin to the 10. Planutis rejected by Basile. Now blocked by Wilborn, but with some body too. That's a foul.
You know, John, isn't it so nice to have fans back in the arena? I know it hasn't made a big of a difference tonight, but just hearing people scream, whether that was a block shot, when the dunk happened earlier. That's such a good feeling to have back.
Yeah, it really is. And, especially for these student athletes, getting to have their family members and their friends, and not to mention other folks in the community. And another appeal of Purdue Fort Wayne being in the Horizon League and being so centrally located is getting to see some of the visiting fans come into the Coliseum. And like we mentioned before, a good crowd here supporting the Raiders.
Yeah, not too far down the road for a little Thursday night to kind of come over.
Yeah, or in some cases even, Fort Wayne residents here who went to Wright State or even played there. Keon Brooks Sr., saw him in the crowd tonight.
Yep.
A lot of people know about Keon Brooks Jr. right now, a captain at Kentucky.
Yep.
Went to Northside High School in Fort Wayne, but Keon Brooks Sr. made a name for himself playing as well. And Nard Hollins is another Fort Wayne native who went on to stand out at Wright State and now is one of the top player development trainers here in the Northeast Indiana area, especially on the girls and women's basketball side. Speaking of, congratulations to the Mastodons women's basketball team, off to a 3-0 start in the Horizon League under first-year head coach Maria Marcusano. They're trying to chase after what the Wright State women did last year, and not only winning the conference, but even pulling off an upset in the NCAA tournament. .22 for Godfrey, but not enough. Planutis the steal. All of a sudden, it is an 11-point game. All it's going to take here is a 3. Phillips halfway down and out, and there's a crucial rebound for Tim Finke and a foul on the Dons. I was going to say all it was going to take was a 3 to put a little bit of a scare into Wright State, and
almost
not
got
to
it.
say that they've been coasting, but you build up a double-digit lead, maintain it throughout the half. It's kind of only human nature.
It is. It's you get off, especially them. And then they got up 17 or 18 at one point, and it's like, oh man, you guys been able to get we've been able to get whatever we wanted. We'll just coast through the end. But as soon as you start coasting for a minute or two, these teams are too good in this league for you to do that, John. You've got to play a full 40 minutes each game, whether you're up 18 or you're down 1 or you're down 20.
Lengthy possession. Calvin catch and shoot, and there's a dagger. Trey Calvin came into this game shooting just 22% from 3, and that kind of encapsulates the cold spell that this Raiders group was in. Calvin's a guy who, grown up in the state of Illinois, won a statewide high school three-point shooting contest, and it was only a matter of time before these shots started to fall for WSU, and boy, have they tonight, as the Raiders are shooting 68% from the field, and most of that's been point-blank range, but now 5 threes as well. Comparatively, the Mastodons shooting below 40% overall. It's one of those games where you look at the box score and that tells you the story.
No, absolutely it does. I mean, you're talking tough.
And elsewhere on ESPN Plus right now, Cleveland State up by 18 over Northern Kentucky and Northeast Ohio midway through the second half. JoJo Peterson thought he was forcing a jump ball, instead called for a foul. And that's 7 fouls against Purdue Fort Wayne. Both teams are in the 1-1 bonus. You alluded to him before, but on the bench this year for the first season for Wright State, assistant coach Dan Beret, former Mastodons assistant coach, Indiana alum.
Yeah, he's the one standing up there on your screen, and was lucky enough to have him as my assistant when I played here for 3 years. Was one of my favorite coaches to be around. Great person, comes from a great family, and it's nice to be able to see him and catch up with him, tonight.
And now with an Indiana guy on his team, and Andrew Wellig, who makes the first to earn another. solid off the bench tonight with 8 points. 7 rather. Pipkin slips. It's a jump ball. Trey Calvin forces the tie-up, and there's that energy and effort that Wright State really brought from the opening tip. They've sustained it, stepping up after the 5-game losing streak and showing sort of that championship will that this program has demonstrated consistently for several years.
And that's something that you can always fall back on, right, is your previous success.
Oh, it's a touchdown pass and a layup. Tanner Holden won a state championship in Ohio as a wide receiver, offensive player of the year at his level. He was getting interest from Ohio State to play football and wound up opting to play basketball instead, but you can see that explosive athleticism. And I know the Buckeyes this year, one of the most tremendous wide receiver units in the country, although I know, Mike, you can brag that your Michigan Wolverines held them in check. Wanted to save that until the end that Kibbe here is a Wolverines fan because, probably half of our audience tonight is tuned in from the Buckeye State. Didn't want them hating you the entire broadcast.
That's probably some wise words. So, yeah, we got some bragging rights at least for the next year. That was fun to be at.
Only took a decade.
Oh, yeah, that stuff happens. So it's all about runs, right? Sports is a game of runs, and you just got to end a run sometime.
Holden was, as a junior, a finalist for Mr. Football in Ohio, but his dad played basketball in college at Marshall and the Hall of Fame for the Thundering Herd. And now Tanner, really the MVP for this Wright State team. 22 points, and not just him. The problem for them over the first 6 games was a lot of times it was only Holden being productive. Tonight, complete team effort.
It was a complete team effort. They stuck to their keys of the game. Was for the one, they wanted to pound the ball inside as much as they could. They wanted to be really good transition defense, and you could tell they were good in transition defense. And they wanted to limit paint touches, and they were able to do that really well.